All right. 5-minute challenge. Write or speak on something for 5 minutes. Actually, do anything for 5 minutes. It breaks you out of a rut of feeling uncomfortable about doing anything because you say to yourself, hey, I can do anything for 5 minutes. It's based off of a principle in the book Atomic Habits. Cannot remember who the author is, but it's an excellent book. And so I'm doing the 5-minute challenge in writing. Each morning I'm writing something that I want to be kind of like a daily devotional thing for Future Point, where I have a little booklet. I come out with 5 minutes. I come out with a daily devotional. So each morning I'm going to wake up. I'm going to spend 5 minutes writing what's on my mind and on my heart. And the goal is to eventually accumulate enough material that I can have a daily awesome little devotional that I can, get out there and get people, motivated, pumped up, inspired, and encouraged. I'm also writing a sci-fi novel. And so I think that doing the speaking thing is a good thing for me for that, because I have a ton of ideas for it and I love talking about them. So this is a good way to raise awareness for it. And plus the content of it deals a lot with what we are going through at this very moment in our reality. We are, let me put it this way. There are a lot of people that are frightened about what's going on in our country right now. And I think there are a lot of people that are, there's two camps, as always, because we've got a very politicized, partisan atmosphere where everything is polarized. We hear all these words that are basically signifying dividing lines, and we all know that this is the case. One of I would say the key features of the people that are on the right is that they are labeled conspiracy theorists by the media, which I believe is the left side saying that. So on one side, you've got people that are conspiracy theorists, but what I think that they are is they are aware of things that are going on that frighten them. On the left side, I believe that a lot of people feel like they can't question things because they will be labeled a conspiracy theorist. And in the context in which that label is thrown out there, they believe that that is a negative thing. So anyways, conspiracy theories. I think that it's completely 100% fine to have conspiracy theories, because a lot of times you find out that conspiracy theories are true. So going back to why people are scared, I believe that people are scared right now because, at least for me, I've read the book 1984. 1984 by George Orwell talks about, this was written in the, I believe, the 30s or the 40s, right when actual fascism, Nazism, and also communism, all of the isms were all taking place around this guy, around the same time. And surprise, surprise, Nazism, fascism, communism, totalitarianism, they all use basically the same tactics. So you'll see things such as restrictions on free speech. You'll see things like the attempt to take away people's, you would definitely see attempts to take away people's rights to bear arms. But the reasons why free speech is taken away is because the more that they can control your speech, the more that they can control the way that you think, or at least the way that you're able to express how you think or how you feel. When we see things happening such as hate speech, that can mean so many different things. So hate speech could be anything that at some point that the government deems as harmful to what they believe is their agenda. And we can see it morph. We're entering into Pride Month right now. So Pride Month is something where people go out and they celebrate essentially homosexuality being something that is a feature and a part of our society, and they believe that it's something that should be celebrated because there are a lot of people that have, I'm trying to be as gracious as possible to their side of it, that they have been victimized for the way that they choose to love people, loving people of the same sex. They believe that, a lot of them believe that they are born that way and they should not be victimized or penalized for being born a particular way. So that is something that they believe that it's worth celebrating. Now, the people that don't agree with that particular interpretation of reality, there are people that see it more as a lifestyle choice that you are partaking in that they do not agree with. In our country, depending on how you express that, it can be labeled as hate speech. Depending on who watches me say what I just said, that could be labeled as hate speech, or is labeled by hate speech as some. I guarantee that. So with that very mild, charitable version, in which I just shared both points of view, because I shared a point of view that one of the sides will not like hearing, that can be deemed as hate speech. We're seeing that in our country at this very moment, where that's something that you would need to be worried about. This is why people are afraid to talk about those things. Let's take it a step further, though. Let's take it to a step where the society that you live in, actually, here's an interesting thing that just happened. This will prove my point. The society that we live in, the NFL, for Pride Month, there were 11 teams that did not, on Pride Month Day, tweet out in support of it. So in other words, they didn't send out a tweet acknowledging or uplifting, or in a sense, almost like signaling their loyalty to this ideology. And I was sent a link that showed basically all of the teams that did not support or did not send out tweets on celebrating Pride Month. There were 11 teams. There are publications right now that felt that it was necessary to point out the teams that did not send out tweets. And I promise you, those teams are going to be coming under fire for not sending out a tweet. So let's take this to, let's just go through the logical progression of things. If our society gets to the point where you don't affirm a particular point of view, and they start to see that lack of affirmation as hate speech, suddenly speech is turning from something that it is truly hateful into, now this is a weapon in which we get you to say things, get you to do things that support our agenda, that get you to support what we want you to say, what we want you to do. This is what 1984 is talking about. There are things that express your loyalty to the party, and if you don't do them, then you are labeled a dissident, and you are vulnerable to go to a re-education camp. So these are things that in my book that I'm writing it based off of, if you take where things are starting to go in our society right now, things that make people who've read 1984 and they look around them and they see in our world similarities that are kind of budding in that direction, It's a little seed now. It's a little sapling that's coming up out of the ground. It's not a full-on choke you out tree of communism or totalitarianism yet, but we see the little seeds that have been planted and they're growing. So in my book, I'm taking us down a trail where the seeds grow big and strong, and that becomes the reality in the world. Imagine it, look at it like this. Imagine if Hitler had succeeded, or imagine if Stalin had overrun Hitler and then continued on towards the West and took over the West. Imagine if we had full-on worldwide Nazism or communism, fascism, totalitarianism. Any way that you look at it, there's no way to spin it. Those are all oppressive ideologies that they will kill you if you don't fall in line in their strongest forms of their government. They don't work. If you want actual freedom or actual people being happy and having their own, let's say their own sentient free will, being able to do what they want to do. That's why our country remains good, remains strong, and why I support it. But look at that. Look at the time. Hey, it's 11 minutes. Okay, so that means that I passed my 5-minute goal. That's what I got for today. Who knows what I'll talk about tomorrow, but it's a 5-minute challenge. So we're going to get it on and see what happens. Thanks for tuning in. And if you didn't tune in, it doesn't matter, because I still got some practice in. I still got some words out of my mouth. Have a good one.